welcome to your Pilates studio. This session is all about using this lovely big balance ball. So all you need is this ball and a little bit of space so you can move around easily. So a couple of things before we begin. You always want to make sure your feet are on the same surface as your ball so that if anything happens and your feet slide away from you, you're not going to risk falling off your ball. The other thing you want to try and be aware of is make sure your ball is big enough and got enough air in it that your hips are going to be at least as high as your knees, if not a little bit higher. Okay, so mine are roughly level, but anywhere a bit higher is going to be absolutely fine. You just don't want your hips lower than your knees. From there, we're going to take the feet hip distance apart. We're going to lengthen up through the spine. So we've got that lovely piece of string coming from our bottom all the way through our spine and out the top of the head. Rolling the shoulders back and down from there. And we're going to start to tip and tilt the pelvis. So you're going to tuck the pelvis all the way under and then take it out and behind. So you tuck the tailbone under and then take it out and behind. And we want to do that a couple of times. And then we're going to settle on a midpoint. So somewhere in between those two extremes. Tailbone is pointing down towards the floor. And we're going to lift up through the rib cage from there. So sitting nice and tall on your ball, we're going to start to think about the breath. So start to come in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as you inhale, widening the rib cage full and wide, exhaling out through the mouth. Keeping that going, we're going to start to switch on through our center. So we're going to think about our hips to belt, coming across the hip bones, down across the lower abdominals. We're going to come all the way in through the nose. And we're going to draw that belt in as tight as it'll go. And then we're going to release it slowly on the out breath. And again, drawing in through the nose. But this time just pull that belt in halfway. And then release. And finally drawing in through the nose. Just pulling that belt in a third of the way. Holding that there, releasing and breathing over the top of that. So we want to keep that connection, keep that length through the spine. We're just going to do some shoulder rolls to start. Just rolling the shoulders back and down, loosening through the arms. And then we're going to start to add some circles. So sweeping the arms around. Lifting up tall through the spine as you do this. Keeping the back nice and tall, keeping the pelvis still. And then one more time, all the way down to the sides. Now we're going to lift one heel up off the mat or the floor and place it back down. We're going to try and keep the pelvis as still as possible while we do this. Lifting the other foot and placing it down. See if you can stay nice and light on your ball. So lifting up through the spine. We're going to see if we can lift the foot now. So we're going to take one heel up and then see if we can bring the whole foot up. And then placing it down, same on the other side, lifting the heel and then bringing the whole foot and knee up. Good, keeping that going. Lift the heel first and then the knee. Try to avoid rolling in the hips as you do this. So keeping as still as possible, keeping the pelvis as still as you can. We're going to add the opposite arm, so floating up and then coming back down. Keeping this going, floating it up and coming down. Good. Keeping that going, keeping as still as you can through your center. If you can, you're going to add a little bit more now. You're going to come up with the arm and knee. Leave the arm as it is. See if you can take the leg out to the side. Bring it back and then place it down. As still as you can through your center as you do this. Good. So lifting up tall through the spine. Keeping the pelvis nice and still. A few more like this. Float. Whoop. My balance isn't going very well. Keep the arm above the shoulder. And down. Last few on this movement. Remember, you can always stick with one of the lower levels, so just lifting the heel. No need to add the leg movement. Last ones, coming up. If you're adding that leg movement, and then coming down, roll the shoulders, bring the arms straight out in front, shoulders down. We're going to sweep one arm up past the ear, turn towards it, sweep it round and behind. Good, and the same on the other side. Up past the ears, sweep it around behind you, looking towards the hand as it goes. Again, keeping as still as possible through your centre. Keeping the pelvis still, rotating with the upper back. So everything stays nice and still from the waist below. Lift up tall through the spine. So from the sides, this is going to look like this. Reaching round. Remember, you want that length in the spine, because if we start to slump, it makes the arm movement and the rotation much more difficult. So sitting up nice and tall. Good, last couple. And then coming back, relaxing the arms down. We're going to do some pelvic tilts, so much like we did at the start, but we're going to make the movement bigger. So arms come back out in front. You're going to draw in those lower abdominals and tuck the tailbone underneath you. So nothing moves up above, just the tailbone tucking under and then releasing back. And again, draw those lower abdominals, tuck the tailbone under and then release. And again, tuck and release. And this might be enough for you. Otherwise, we're going to see if we can add a little bit more movement. So we're going to use not just the core muscles now, but those upper abdominal muscles to help us move. We tuck under using those lower abs, then we use the upper abdominals to curl back. Then we're going to hold and then curl forwards and grow tall at the top. And again, tuck the tailbone under, curl back, hold on the in-breath and then come forwards and grow tall. Good, carry that on. Tuck the tailbone first and then curl. Inhale as you hold, exhale as you come forwards and lift nice and tall. Good. Now we're going to see if we can add a little bit more challenge. So obviously stay here if this is good enough for you and this is the level you're happy with, or comfortable with. Otherwise we're going to tuck, curl, hold that as we float one heel up off the mat. Bring the knee up, place it down and then come forwards. Building nice and tall. And again, tuck, roll back. Lift the other heel, see if you can get the other foot up, bring it down and then grow tall. A few more if you can. Tuck and curl. Float the heel first, then the knee, staying as still as you can through the centre as you do this. A few more like this. Always grow nice and tall at the top. And then you can tuck under and roll back when you come down. Obviously alternating legs each time if you're lifting. We're going to do one more to either side after this. And tuck, roll back. Hold as you lift, lower, whoop, almost lost it, and grow tall. Lovely, bring the arms down, we're going to stand up and come behind the ball. Now from here, nice length through your spine, we're going to be hinging forward. So tuck the tailbone towards the feet, I'm moving my ball. Tuck the tailbone towards the feet, stand nice and tall and draw in those lower abs. We're going to hinge forward. So keep a nice neutral spine, soft through the knees as you hinge forward over your ball. Have your hands on your ball, but try and keep them as light as you can. We're going to slide the right leg out behind you. So you're soft through the left knee, nice and tall through the spine, don't start to curl. Okay, so lower abdominals are supporting this position with the back. We're going to squeeze the right buttock and lift and lower. As you start to get the movement, make your hands even lighter on your ball. See if you can just get your fingertips so they're touching. We're going to do another 5 from here. So 5. And notice I'm not arching through the back as I lift the leg. I'm keeping the back nice and still. It's just the movement through the bottom. 2. And 1, slide that knee in, keep that length through the spine, so tip of the head reaching one way, tailbone reaching the other. Shift the weight to your right leg so you can slide your left leg out behind. Squeeze the left buttock as you lift and lower. So just check your form here. Shoulders are down. The length is through the spine. You're engaged in those lower abdominals to support your back. For 5, 4, 3, squeeze that buttock, 2, and 1. Go back to the first side. So if you need to at any point, just come up, take a rest, realign your spine, tailbone towards the floor, lower abs engaged, and then hinge forward again. Soften the knees, extending that right leg out, squeezing to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Remember, light on your hands through the ball. For 5 and 4. Don't be surprised if your supporting leg is also feeling the work. That's good. 2 and 1. Slide it in. Lower abs need to stay connected to protect your back. Slide the left leg out. Squeeze the left bottom. Lift and lower. Shoulders down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come down with the leg. We're going to do standing cat-cow. So press your hands onto the ball. Tuck your tailbone, tuck your head under. Into that cat stretch for your back. Now we're going to do a hamstring stretch. So soft bend into the knees. As you drop the tummy, lift the head, lift the tailbone into your cow stretch, creating that hamstring stretch at the back of the legs. And again, tuck the tailbone, tuck the head, curl up. And then as you inhale, dropping into that cow stretch. And again, tuck the tailbone, tuck the head. And then release. Exhale. Inhale. And one more time. Exhale. And inhale. So release. And then come back to the floor. We're going to have our knees on the mat now, or the floor. Hands are going to be out in front of us. They're going to be on your side of the ball. You don't want them to end up on the other side. All right, shoulders are down, and again, neutral through the spine. So tailbone tucks down towards the floor. We're going to be doing a plank. So you want to make sure that your spine stays nice and straight from your head all the way to your knees. All right, you don't want to end up here because you'll lose the work. All right, so drop the shoulders, draw in your lower abs, and imagine plank from knee to tip of your head. Walk the hands away, and you're going to lower yourself forward. Okay, this is where you don't want to leave your bottom behind here. All right, take your bottom with you. Come out into a plank position. Hold for an in-breath, and then see if you can slowly pull back. Keep the hands this side of the ball. If you keep your hands still, what happens is the hands tend to roll over the other side, which you don't want, okay? So try and keep the hands your side of the ball. Coming forwards into your plank. Inhaling and holding. Exhaling as you draw back. Inhale, prepare, pull in those lower abs. Exhale as you come forwards. Shoulders down and let them creep up. Inhale and hold. Exhale as you come forwards. Obviously, the further away you get from your ball, or with your ball, the harder it becomes. Okay, don't let the bottom sink too low either. You don't want this going into your lower back. It's a real lower abs and shoulders work. Last couple. And then back. This is the last one. Draw in the lower abs, come forwards. And then come back. Good. From there, just come down. In fact, sorry, one more stretch before we go. Hands on the ball, sink your head down. Try and keep your bottom up, not dropping back to your feet. And then you're going to go from side to side. So it's a nice little stretch for the shoulders. Come back. Now we're going to the floor. So coming round, we're going to put our feet up on the ball. Okay, so we're going to do a shoulder bridge with the ball. So you want your legs long for this one. But I would have just your heels and maybe the bottom of your calves on the ball. You don't want to be too much of your leg resting there. All right, you want to try and challenge yourself. Have just the heels. They're still hip distance apart like they would be on the mat. We're going to roll the spine to neutral. So tip your tailbone, tuck it under, and then release it. Find those two extremes. Settle in that midpoint. You're going to draw in your lower abdominals, so pull in your belt to that third notch. Arms are relaxed to start. We're going to squeeze the bottom, tip the hips so we flex the back into the mat, and then you're going to peel up through the spine. Inhale at the top, and then exhale as you peel back down. Roll back to neutral, and again, squeeze the bottom, tip the hips, peel up through the spine. Inhale at the top and exhale. This is your option 1. Option 2, we're going to add the arms. So we're going to do the same thing. Draw in the lower abs, squeeze the bottom and curl up through the spine. But this time at the top, we're going to keep the hips high and take the arms over and behind you. Shoulders down away from the ears. Now you're going to curl back down through the spine. All the way back to the mat. Roll back to neutral. And bring the arms up and over. And again, draw in your belt, squeeze your bottom, tip your hips and peel up. Arms come over and behind you, shoulders down, and then peel back down. This is your option 2. Option 3, we're going to add in a hamstring curl at the top. So we draw in the belt, squeeze the bottom. If you find your ball is going side to side, just make sure when you're curling up and down, you've got your same amount of work going on in both buttocks, okay? If you haven't, if one leg or one buttock is working harder, you'll start to push the ball off to the side, so just be mindful of that. Once you're up, we're going to bend the knees in, keep the bottom high, extend them out, and then curl back down. Roll to neutral, arms come up and over. So you squeeze the bottom, tip the hips, peel up. Hips stay high as you take the arms over and behind. And you pull the knees in, release them out, and then curl back down. Roll back and over. 2 more. Draw in your lower abs, squeeze the bottom. Work evenly as you peel up. Arms come over and behind. Draw the knees in without the bottom dropping. Extend them away and then come back down. 1 more here. Draw in the lower abs, squeeze the bottom. Roll through the spine. Arms come over, shoulders down here. Draw in the knees, release them and then peel back down. Bring the ball all the way in so that it's tucked in close to your bottom and the legs are hanging over the top. And then gently roll side to side. Just a nice little back massage. Releases off the work in your legs and glutes. Then we're going to do 1 more for the obliques now. So down the sides of the body. So when you're ready, take the ball away. You want your knees bent so that they are sat over your hips. And you want just your heels resting on the ball. All right, don't have too much resting there. Just the heels, and they want to be this side of the ball. Don't have them hanging over the other side. All right, keep them as light as possible. Hip distance apart. We're going to find that neutral spine. So tip the tailbone, flatten and arch the back until you settle in that midpoint. Now you're going to hold that. So draw in your belt. Take your arms out wide to your sides in a crucifix position. Slide your shoulders down. We're going to do hip rolls. So taking the knees and feet down one way, the head goes the other way. Draw in your belt and pull everything back to center. Same the other way, rolling down and then pulling it back. Keep that going. If you want to make it harder, get your heels as light as possible on the ball. So you can just feel them touching and moving the ball side to side. If you want a little bit more from there, you're going to start to lift the trailing leg. So as you go over, you lengthen the trailing leg away and then bring the heel lightly back to the ball as you return. Extending away and then pulling it back. Keep that going. Try and draw in. Bring yourself back to center using that belt muscle. Pull back. Remember, heels are light. Your spine is always in neutral as you come through the center. Shoulder blades are always in contact with the floor, so don't let them lift. A few more if you can. Last ones to each side. And then coming back to center, pull the ball all the way in again, snug to your bottom. We're going to do a little hamstring stretch here, so just roll the ball side to side for a moment. Then come back to center, lengthen your right leg up towards the ceiling. It doesn't need to be completely straight. You just want to be able to feel that stretch behind the back of the thigh as you gently pull it towards you. So either holding on behind the thigh, behind the calf, or up onto the ankle if you can get there, as long as you feel that stretch down the back of the leg. Hold that for some nice big breaths. Then you're going to release it off. Allow the leg to relax back over the ball. Bring the other leg up. Gently pull that into a hamstring stretch, so back of the thigh. Nice big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And release. Gently roll the hips from side to side. And that is it. There's a nice short little session that you can squeeze into your day. Great way to use these balls. Hope you enjoy it.